Ronald Barnett is Emeritus Professor of Higher Education at the Institute of Education at the University of London. He is a recognized authority on the conceptual and theoretical understanding of the university and higher education. His books, several of which have won prizes and have been translated into other languages, including, for example, The Idea of Higher Education, Realizing the University in an Age of Supercomplexity, Beyond All Reason, and A Will to Learn, Being a Student in an Age of Uncertainty. In 2011, his books Being a University and The Future University, Ideas and Possibilities were published. He has recently served as a special advisor to the House of Commons Select Committee Inquiry into Universities and Students. He is currently Senior Research Consultant at the University of Surrey and Visiting Professor at the universities in China and Australia. Professor Barnett, you started your lecture by stressing the historically changing character of the university. The university's latest formation would be the entrepreneurial university of the late 20th and early 21st century. Why should we come up with alternative ideas to this university?
Very important question, because the entrepreneurial university, which has strengths and is not to be denied or rubbished, is unduly limited, unduly limits the scope and the possibilities for the university, and in some ways diminishes the possibilities for the universities. The idea of the university, the entrepreneurial university, is at its essence that the resources of the university should be put to work and should be made to earn their keep, should demonstrate their value in a market situation. I'm not against markets totally. They actually have their value as a way of engendering innovation and some beneficial change. But for the university to conceive of itself totally in such a way is to diminish the possibilities for the university, and perhaps we might go on to talk about that.
Yes. You presented a model called the ecological university. Maybe in a nutshell, what is the basic meaning of this concept and what are its advantages?
Well, I can perhaps try to answer that question by comparing it with the entrepreneurial university, whereas the entrepreneurial university is a university intent on seeing to what extent it can earn its keep, so to speak, from its resources being put into a marketplace. In other words, the entrepreneurial university is an extractive university. It extracts what it can from the marketplace. The ecological university is completely the reverse. The ecological university is a university that doesn't keep itself separate from society, is not an ivory-towered university, but puts itself into society, sees what it can do to help society and the wider world go forward, has a concern and a care for society and for the world. It is concerned not just to sustain the world, but is a university that is concerned to see how its knowledges and its resources can help the further well-being of the world.
After your examination of the conceptual space of the university in your lecture, you offered two possible kinds of conclusions, a pessimistic and an optimistic one. You obviously favored the latter. Why do you think that it still makes sense to believe in the university?
Well, the university, is an extraordinary institution which we've had in the Western world for 900 years, has unfolded and will doubtless continue to unfold. It will be there anyway. I've no doubt about that, although many are saying that the university no longer has a specific or particular place in society. Other institutions are performing the various functions of a university in terms of research on the one hand, teaching on the other, knowledge, innovation again. But nevertheless, I think we are going to have the university with us for the foreseeable future. But the question is under what terms? And I've been saying that the idea of the entrepreneurial university unduly closes in the conception of the university into itself in unduly narrow ways, and that we can and we should think about the university in much bigger ways. What I also want to say is that there are spaces and possibilities opening up in the 21st century for the university. I think there's going to be, I wasn't able to extend this thought in my talk, but there is going to be, I believe, in the 21st century, a political and a social demand for the university to become again a full university. That is to say, a university that is concerned with disinterested inquiry, but a university no longer, as it were in the 19th century, separated off from the world, but is putting that disinterested inquiry and disinterested knowledge directly into the service of society, where I think we're going to see universities working much more directly with communities and networks in all sorts of ways, showing how their resources can actually help society move forward in all sorts of ways. I think we're going to see research and teaching become much more diffuse activities. As the university reaches out into society, we're already seeing embryonically the university acting in this way. The big universities of the world, for example, in terms of their research, are now handling such enormous data sets that they can't do it themselves and are actually getting the public to work with them. In terms of teaching, we're seeing with the rise of new digital technologies and so forth, we're seeing a quite different relationship now between the teacher and the student. What does it mean to be a student in a global age where you have everything available immediately? What is the function of a university in such an age? We're going to see these learning and teaching and knowledge production functions of the university, I think, completely, if not inverted, at least developed in profound ways. There are all sorts of spaces for the university to become a university. What does it mean for a society to learn in the modern age? The society and the world are faced with extraordinary challenges. We're going to have to become learning societies in a very big way. The university is going to be absolutely critical to this project of becoming a learning society. We need all our people to go on becoming more informed citizens of the world, citizens of society in which they're helping society to make sense of the big challenges facing them. If the university doesn't have a place to play in all of this, the society itself is going to be worse off. So I want to be optimistic that there are all sorts of possibilities opening up for the university in the modern world. Not just possibilities, but responsibilities as well. My idea of the ecological university is simply just that it is a university that understands that it has both possibilities and responsibilities in the world. And these possibilities and responsibilities are not going to be captured by talk of markets, of entrepreneurialism, of the corporate university. These are merely sideshows in this much bigger development of the university that's going to be opening up in the 21st century.